99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, morning everybody. You're welcome to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, and today is Thursday. Remember that on Saturday morning we have the Yemi Kandi Johnson SAN, and we're going to take a very critical look at what's going on in Kano, both from a political and from a legal perspective, so you don't want to miss that. Okay, so early this morning we were talking about Kenya. The focus of everybody on African affairs is on the developments in Kenya, which, believe you me, it appears as if maybe it has just started. Okay, so first of all, the quotation that skipped me this morning, there's somebody here who wants to spy my phone. You know, when he was in school, he knew how to spy the paper of the person sitting next to him. He wants to spy my phone. Well, the quotation that that caught my attention is a banner that was carried. If you're on YouTube, you can see it here. It says, "Kenya is a proof that prayers cannot fix bad governance." Sheriff. It's very deep. It says, Kenya is what?
It's a proof.
Yes. Kenya is a proof, or is proof, that prayers cannot fix bad governance.
Yes.
So, if you like, you pray from now till kingdom come, nothing is going to happen unless you do something. That's what this gentleman, let me see if his name is there. He carried the banner. No, I can't think it has disappeared again. But it says that Kenya is proof that prayers cannot fix bad governance. You have to find a way to fix bad governance itself. And the thought behind that is that, I mean, you elect people into government. You expect them to do good and, make life bearable. They are just leaders. They are one out of many. And before you know it, you are enslaved. They handle your resources with so much recklessness. Because one of the problems that Kenya had, apparently, was a piling debt. Okay, one of the problems I had was a piling debt. And in order to address how to move on, with that kind of debt, the government now wanted to impose taxes. The Daily Trust is here, and it's my resource material. They wanted to impose taxes, and they wanted to propose a tax bill. Now, that doesn't that sound familiar to you? After maybe the money had been worked, and then they piled up debts, only God knows what for. And so the Kenyan people, which you have heard, according to this paper here, the Trust, it says, let me read the first paragraph. It says, Kenyan president on Wednesday bowed to pressure from violent protesters and dropped the controversial tax bill, which sought to raise 2.3 billion in new levies in the East African country. So he wanted to raise 2.3 billion to cover debts. Was the debt beneficial to the people? We don't know. I don't have those details here, and I'm not a specialist in Kenyan history, okay, or Kenyan economy. But doesn't this sound familiar? This debt, what he wanted to raise was what Nigerians would call a mere 2.3 billion. You remember yesterday, when we read the story about the EFCC, if you aggregated all the sums involved in this crime that we were talking about that is said to have been committed and not accounted for, I think it was even more than $2.3 billion naira. But so 23 people died in this anti-tax hike demonstration, But thousands of young men took to the streets, and women, girls, and they were purposeful in what they did. There was one colored. They had this some colored water, that they tried to use to quell the riots. By the next day, the young chaps knew how to handle it. There were some of them going around with some kind of liquid. I don't know what would have been in it, but it was able to clear the tear gas from the eyes of a lot of them. You could see a lot of initiative took place that day. The newspaper reports that the protest, which began online, it started online. It gathered momentum and paralyzed socioeconomic activities in the country for days. Sheriff, this is interesting. The original bill proposed taxes on bread, cooking oil, mobile money services, specialized hospitals, and motor vehicles, all of which Kenya said would worsen the cost of living crisis. Since last week, the streets of Kenya have been mad by protests after lawmakers approved the tax increases that are even unpopular with supporters of the president. The supporters of the president joined in saying that no. And it is important for you to note that it was non-violent. It is important for you to know the videos that I saw, I didn't see anybody destroying anything. What they just did.
They later did.
They later did. Oh, okay. So I stand corrected on that. Okay, so there was violence. Okay, no problem. The story now also says that the doubling of the tax on petroleum products from 8% to 16% is expected to have a ripple effect on Kenya, with the prices of goods and services expected to increase. President Ruto, who was elected last year, has only made things harder, one supporter said. And this is what the supporter also said. He said it was going to make life easier for us hustlers. We are now unable to afford food. Prices are higher than they were before the elections. And an analysis shows that people who are earning above 500,000 shillings, which translates to about $3,500, now will pay 32.5% in taxes. And those making above 800,000 shillings will pay 35%. Combined with a new housing tax of 1.5% and the medical insurance tax of 2.5%, the new burden will see some Kenyans part with about 40% of their income. So if you're on 100,000, you go home with 60,000. Okay? And Teresa Kathina, a civil servant for 26 years, said that this feels cruel because of the inflation rates and so on and so forth. Anyway, so yesterday the president backed down. And thankfully so. He had initially even called out the army. But the thing about these things is that you will find that even the police and the army individually are affected.
Right.
They're not immune.
Yes, they are.
So when you call out these people to go and quell protesters, you got to be careful that they will obey you to the letter. What I think I saw yesterday was a reluctant police that was reluctant to batter his own people. So what I saw was a lot of management moving them, trying to move them back, and so on and so forth. I didn't see any high level of brutality from the security forces. Anyway, they invaded the parliament. And that is a very, very dangerous thing to happen. They invaded the parliament, and I think as at this morning, they said they're now going to move, that they're going to give Ruto the Gaddafi treatment. That is, all of them will move to they will move to the state house and not allow him come out until he resigns. There was one particular young lady, it seems about 22, 23. Oh, she was brave. She was brave. She confronted the police. She tried so much to taunt them. But they kept their cool. They kept their cool in that instance. So Ruto has now said, listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this finance bill 2024, I concede. And therefore, I will not sign the 2024 finance bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn. He said this in a televised address, and some lawmakers were then clapping. Ruto said he would now start a dialogue with Kenyan youth. I believe a bit in Ruto. He seems to have a very good temperament for governance, and his level of exposure and intelligence is quite high. So I believe when he says he's going to have a dialogue, it's not just going to be dishing out money to a group of youngsters to go make a mess of themselves in the social media. And in any case, I think Kenyans are a bit more sophisticated and exposed than some other places where such things could happen. You know, and so he says he will withdraw the finance bill, and he said that and he would dialogue with youth, but he was also going to work on austerity measures, beginning with cuts to the budget of the presidency. That's the first thing you should have done. You know, you can't say that you are trying to introduce reforms and putting people through more suffering without making an example yourself. You want to buy all the new luxuries that you think you're entitled to, but you want them to continue to suffer. And they didn't cause the problem. You cannot continue, in the eyes of everybody, in the case of the debt profile of Kenya, continue to pile up debts. Who's going to pay for it? Where's the money going to come from? And so, but he says that he's going to cut. I'm saying he said. I'm not saying he has done so. And that he's going to cut serious cost cutting in starting with himself, with the presidency. And he mentioned things like even vehicles and so on and so forth. He was going to, and they're most likely going to drop salaries and so on and so forth. So that's where we are today. Now, unfortunately, like a dog that has tasted blood, the people now say they want to go for his jugular and that he must go. That's where we are at this morning. So the newspaper here talks about like Kenya, like Nigeria, but I don't want to go through that exercise this morning, so it won't look as if one is encouraging Nigerians to do so likewise. So I won't make that comparison. All I will say is that there is a lesson to be learned on all sides from what happened in Kenya. There's a lesson for our politicians to learn. There's a lesson also for us to learn. Ultimately, the lesson for me, which I had always known, is that every dog has its day and everybody has a limit. So that's where I will end my presentation on this. Okay. So there's a reaction here. A prominent social justice activist said, and I like this statement, that's why I marked it, but we didn't get to it in the morning. Listen to this very well, please. I will repeat it twice. The arrogance is gone, but the lies are still there. That's why they want to go for his jugular. Okay, it says that he's backed up on this, but the arrogance is gone, but the lies are still there. So I refuse to make like I said, to draw any correlation between Kenya and now, but I believe that a lesson has to be learned. I wonder what you think. Now, this is a very sensitive subject, so let's handle it with a bit of care. There are so many things that are obvious, you don't need to state them. This is my personal advice to you. There are so many things that are obvious in this Kenyan story that you don't need to state the obvious. Okay? I mean, so let's just have fun. It is 9:18. Our lines, as usual, they haven't changed. 0201 277 0201 277. You have 0993 1993 2993 and 3993. I'll take my first caller. Good morning. Morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Disu.
Morning.
This is One from IKD.
Yes.
Yeah, great, interesting topic this morning. Kenyan protest, Kenyan youth protest. I want to say this, right? Just to compare you like Nigeria. You said you don't want to kind of encourage Nigerians to kind of behave like Kenyans, right? But social media is there. It's telling a lot to Nigerians. You get the point. 95% of Nigerians are on social media watching what's happening around the world. So what I'm saying is, can Nigeria youth invade National Assembly to protest, to destroy the set part of it a place? Nigeria just they stay on target and they will fire with live bullets. You get the point? If Nigeria youth should get to National Assembly to destroy any facility there, they will butcher them with bullets. But I'm telling you that one day, we can't be violent. We weren't violent during our ex-house protest. We're peaceful. You get the point? Even post-election protest in Abuja, they were peaceful. You get the point? We remain resolute and we cannot remain peaceful. But I'm telling you, sir, one day, when you go market, come back.
Okay. Okay, I think your point is well noted.
I agree with him totally.
Yes.
Nigerian youths have never been violent. All their protests have been very peaceful. You could speak to those that have tried to, what do you call that thing that you always say? Infiltrate their mix and then cause trouble and all of those things. You always say that.
There is even every reason to believe that, and this has nothing to do with the Tinubu government, across the board from way back when some of us were students, activists, government can even plan people within you to turn violent to give you a bad name. If we've been in this thing for a long time, Sheriff, we know the way these things go. The government itself will be the ones to plant people within you to make it go violent, so they will have a reason to clamp down. There are some things that it's a pity that there's something called discretion. I wish we never had it in the world, and you could say what's on your mind just like that. But the repercussions that one fears is not being arrested or shot at or whatever. No, the repercussions are far and wide. What is most important, Sheriff, is that our politicians should not take our people for granted.
Right.
It's like when I watch people analyzing a football match, Liverpool is going to, or Nigeria is going to play Ghana, and I see some of these analysts come and say, "Oh yes, I remember in 1985 when Ghana played Nigeria, was it the same team? No. Was it the same circumstance? No. If Nigerians didn't do something yesterday, it doesn't mean they won't do it today. So you can't base your analysis on that. All you can do, because in life, especially when you are in power, you must always be careful about the unexpected. Lightning does not strike in the same place twice. It's an act of nature. It hasn't been, nobody has said otherwise. It just won't strike in the same place twice. Very, very unlikely. And there's a reason for that. So to say that Nigerians won't do this and won't do that, I would never say that. I would rather continually say that there is a limit to which any people, any country, to which citizens can be pushed. And these days, especially with the advent of the social media, it's so easy to galvanize people. Remember that this protest in Kenya, Sheriff, it started on the social media. And so it's an eye-opener. Somebody sent me a private reaction today, and he said that, Uncle Jimmy, I'm in tears and regrets for the country I'm living in with this Kenyan story. Are you listening?
I'm with you.
Are you listening at home? Okay, good. You are. How do I know? Okay, it says Kenya has 42 ethnic groups. 42 ethnic groups, yet they came together in unison to speak with one voice. 42 ethnic groups Kenya had, but when the time came, they all spoke in one voice. One of the tactics here is to divide and rule. let's throw the cat at the pigeons, or is it the pigeons at the cat? I don't even know what it is. But it's divide and rule. You said Igbo against Yoruba. You said, and a lot of young people are lapping it up. Because look at it, Sheriff. Have you ever been to a gathering of politicians before? The major phrase you'll be hearing, oh, my brother from another mother. My brother from... They will follow this one to Kigwe to do naming ceremony. They follow this one to Kafanchan to bury his mother. They'll be backslapping and laughing, Christians and Muslims and sorry, time. Okay, we'll take a break and I'll be back.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Maker, this one you sit down like this. I hope say no wala.
Nah man, now the money where they see for shop. Every time I check am, the money no dey complete. Even the one when I give them that ajo man, I never see am till today.
My brother, you know they keep money for shop again, oh, because anything fit to happen to am. Come oh, shit they give goat yam, make him keep. He go chop and claim out. Bros, run go Javodani Microfinance Bank to open savings account and put your money inside. Make your mind cool.
You mean Davido savings account?
Hey Maker, no chop your mouth. Now Javodani Microfinance Bank. You fit call am DDMFB.
DDMFB?
Yes, so with your new savings account, you fit use am request for loan to expand your business. That's now, if you run the savings account wella, you fit use your mobile banking app, check balance, do transfer, and buy airtime.
Share Davodani Day Alaba International Market.
Yes, so even other markets like Balogun Trade Fair, Computer Village, Okeare Market, Arena Oshodi, Boundary Market, Ajegunle, Ikorodu, Ochotaketu, Egbeda, Aja, and Onyigo. For more to read, make you check their website www.davodanimfb.com. DDMFB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Cloud Talk Concert is back! Be part of Africa's premier creative community. Come share your inspiration and experiences with some of Nigeria's best content creators, including Folagade Banks, Miss Dems, Lege Miami, Miss Wine, Jay On Air, and many more. With live music performances by Ionmap, Magic,
if not 10 years, he could take.
Bayani.
Drop my money for me, yo. Pounds and euro, carry.
And many more. Your host, Annie Olua. Cloud Talk Concert will take place on June the 29th, 2024. Time 5 p.m. The venue is Jewel by Ida. Hakeem Dixon Link Road, Lekki, Lagos. Register for free at www.cloudtalkconcert.com. CTC is supported by Teasers and Infinix. Cloud Talk Concert. Talk just got lit.
Ida of trading himself. James, hello.
Susan, I beg. Say you the wine me.
For where? You who no longer depend solely on your salary.
So you people trade and don't carry us along in this office, Abby?
Jerry, now you they talk like this. Who doesn't want an extra stream of income? But I'm still looking for better trading conditions, I beg. Fast execution of my trades and possibly an account where swap no go carry all my profits where I don't know.
Guy, HFM.com.
For me, I wouldn't mind better spreads at all, and it won't be a bad idea to be able to make withdrawals in a flash.
All we want is transparency and great customer service.
Guys, I said HFM.com.
Which one is HFM.com again?
Switch to HFM today to enjoy ultra-fast execution, 1 to 2,000 leverage, tight spreads, swap-free, and more.
Guy, show us the way now.
Wait, are you sure deposits and withdrawals are sharp?
I said
HFM.com.
Visit www.hfm.com. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Everybody can fly now with value jet, or your travel worries gone now. Make you relax now because smooth and steady, always ready to be at your service. Oh, smooth and steady, always ready.
Value Jet, wings for everyone.
House of the Dragon is back, and Westeros is on the brink of civil war. The king is dead. The royal line of succession is in question. House Targaryen is divided and all must choose to bend the knee to their king or queen.
Don't miss the show everyone will be talking about. Streaming every Monday on Showmax. Sign up now from 1,200 Naira to access all our entertainment. Showmax, streaming for Africa.
I am happy. Hey, who carry ram where I type for backyard? Everybody for this house, come out.
What's happened? Ogamusa, why now?
I Ramo.
For this compound again.
But wait, so Ogamusa, where you set for Sira? Where I for Sira? Ram where Adro Homes carry for my remote this morning. But plot of land where I buy for their estate. Hey, even Musa said don't buy land. No, be only land. I even collect 30% discount plus gift. Yes, so Adro Ilea promo don't come again. Oh, you fit enjoy 30 to 45% discount on any land where you buy this season with an initial deposit of 100,000 to 2 million naira, and you fit pay small for 12 and 24 months. You go go and get gift items like big ram, big cow, bag of rice, refrigerator, and many more. This promo now from now to July. Terms and conditions dey. For more tori, waka go any of our offices or call 090-9393-4115 or 080-2461-8283. Hey, Ade, so now you carry my ram.
Ade.
Oga Musa, I say make I help you wash your ram so that when you kill her, you go give me small for inside chop.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
You're listening to Jimi Disu right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, so you're welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, and what we're doing today is to review the Kenyan crisis. By the way, I got a few reactions from what we did this morning, and you will remember this morning I was asking the gentleman sitting next to me if you could get cholera from kissing, whether if you kiss a lady who's been exposed to cholera or vice versa, whether, it was possible. And he gave, within his expertise, he answered the question, but Dr. Ayeni thought that he should contribute the medical perspective. So I hope he will listen. He says, cholera is not likely to spread through direct contact with an infected person. But people with cholera can shed the bacterium in their feces for up to 2 weeks, which can contaminate water and can infect other people. Now, I told you, if you want to hire a house, if you're just trying to hire a house, make sure that you don't you don't try to rent a premises where the well in the house is not too far from the soakaway. Things like that you need to watch out for, amongst others. A person may get cholera by drinking water or eating food contaminated with the cholera bacterium. In an epidemic, the source of the contamination is usually the feces of an infected person. Okay. How is cholera spread? The cholera bacteria is passed through feces, poop. It is spread by eating or drinking food or water contaminated by the feces of an infected person. I think that maybe I should try and see if I can talk to Dr. Ayeni tomorrow. He's listening now, so he should get himself prepared. We can do it by Zoom. Doctor, I'm not going to get you out of the comfort of your home. We can do it. We'll see if we can do it by Zoom, so that if our people have questions to answer, we can get that done. And before I close the program, I'm sure he will tell me that it can be done. We'll just take about 30 minutes of his time tomorrow. So that answers the question, Sheriff. So go on song. You can kiss anybody you like, and so on and so forth. But don't go near the feces of other people. Why would you go near feces of other people anyway?
Sometimes, if especially in areas where people practice open defecation.
Oh yes,
yes, flies can pick it up and then perch on your stuff.
And, that's a fantastic point. Pick it up from the whatever and come and perch on the bolly or whatever you're eating.
Well, yes, exactly. And you know you even do like this, and that one has dropped whatever it came to drop.
There have been some people who, especially you beer drinkers, some beer drinkers couldn't be bothered about flies. They drink it, flies and all. I had a friend who he used to joke that it's a nutrient.
Nutrients.
Okay. Did I say something about Boniface Mwagi a prominent social justice activist who said that the arrogance is gone, but the lies are still there. The essence of that quotation is that there is a limit to which propaganda works. Back here, I've seen that the pro-government people, they seem to have piped down, but most of them don't have an intelligent answer to. It's always that, oh, there's so much hatred. Jimi Disu hates this. Jimi Disu does that. I've told you, Jimi Disu is not your problem. It's not anybody's problem. I'm doing my job. Usually they don't have anything intelligent to say. And a new thing is, okay, so some company made some promise, we are going to bring something. Next thing, somebody tweets, and Jimi Disu will not see that. Come on. If what I just like to tell all these young boys out there, that close your eyes and imagine where your future is going. Close your eyes in the quiet time when you're in the toilet, holding the tea roll. You know, when you're in the toilet, you hold the tea roll with one hand and hold the tea roll. Then you can think about. You should ask yourself, even if you're in what you might consider to be a nice position, how long is it going to ask? Where were all the PDP people in the last dispensation? Some of them have all the luxury cars, they live in the houses, they can't even pay the electricity bill. The money is gone. Some of them have cars, they can't. If you go to some of the top garages, you see so many cars that have fallen, nice luxury cars that they can't maintain. So you need to think of your future. And it's good that our young people should have the habit of making their feelings known very, very early in the game to checkmate the government. A government's greatest assets are its critics. But they don't see it that way. The government's greatest assets are its critics. And I would also advise you, most of these political tactics, most of them, some of them completely imbecilic, they don't work. They don't work. Here is the use of force we know that works. Really. They don't work. Where are you going to start from? Nobody is fooled. People are far, far more intelligent. They might not be saying anything, but everybody knows, like they will say in reggae circles, what are guan.
What's going on? Wagwan. By the way, that's the name of the first caller that called in. He said his name is Watagwan.
Watagwan. And we have all kinds of funny names on Twitter, though. Okay, so we'll take more reactions. Let's keep it temperate. Let's learn. Let me tell you a secret about public speaking. First of all, if you are very angry, don't call. If you call, you will make a lot of noise, you will stammer, and you will drive your vehicle in a bottomless pit. Sometimes people say that silence is golden. Yes. And if you need to watch films like Godfather and study them very well. A man who says very little is likely to get into less trouble. Okay, so we'll pick the next caller.
Yes, let's do.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Pastor Ladipo.
Good morning, Oga Sheriff. My take this morning is this. Uncle Jimmy, what happened in Kenya, it will be difficult to happen here in Nigeria. Number one, some politicians, they are a bit half-clevered, and they have succeeded in dividing us. So when we are supposed to speak with one voice and say, this thing, we don't want it again, they can just pick few people amongst us and pitch them against us, against each other. So you will now notice that some will be telling you, either for ethnic reason or for religious reason, they will now begin to go against each other. Instead of going against that thing that is not going to favor everybody, that is not going to favor everybody, just because some of them will get some peanuts from it, they will prefer to support that thing. I want to give you an instance. In Lagos State today, so much multiple taxation going on. Taxes on almost everything in Lagos. Almost everything. But surprisingly, because some people, they have liaised with the power that be, So because they are exempted in one way or the other, they don't talk. If you thought they would tell you hate Lagos, you hate this, you hate that. I ask them one question. Do you have your own filling station where you buy fuel? Do you have? So the challenge is this. They have succeeded in dividing us. That is just it. And it will be difficult for us to come together, sincerely speaking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Pastor Ladikwa's contribution now made me remember that there was a very critical point in this this action that took place. And I quote again from the Trust. The Trust says that the Catholic bishops condemned the actions of the security forces and earnestly appealed to the police not to shoot at the protesters. The Catholic bishops. In some other climes, religious leaders will behave otherwise. If they're not fighting about how to collect your tithes and whatever to buy their mansions and whatever, some of them who really should know and should be telling the people and advising them will tell you that, oh, daddy has not spoken, even though daddy came to drink tea with me. That's the kind of things you will hear in some other climes. So, I would then, like liberals will say in his famous videos, I would then submit that the dependence on religion at a time like this should be minimal. That's the answer I get from all this. It should be minimal. Your religious leaders are not there for you. Let's take our country for example. Was it not your religious leaders that collected 91 billion from government for people to go to Hajj? On point of principle, shouldn't all the imams who took that, and I'm glad there was one of them that took them to task, should they not have said, no, there's hunger in the land, common sense. Now, some of them are quite close, but both close to the president, and they have a large following, and people normally would depend on them. But every time you ask them, they will say, Daddy has not spoken, or they will tell you to keep praying, calling on God. Pray. Let us all pray. You will pray for 1 day, you will pray for 2 days, you will fast for 1 week, you will do this, you will do that. Somehow you are the ones whose belt will be falling off. They don't lose weight. So there are eye-openers, there are lessons to be learned from this. And this, apparently, is a society that is slightly better than ours. Because if I'm glad to know it's there in the papers, stressed there, that the Catholic bishops stressed, they stepped in. They stepped in. I've always said that this country is a conspiracy between the politicians, civil servants, religious leaders, and latest now, the ethnic leaders. Your traditional rulers would have sold you out far ahead before you ever got up in the morning. Because what do we have in a country like ours now? What do your traditional rulers do? Go to the social media. They completely oppress their citizens. They drive Rolls-Royce cars. One has just gotten a golden carriage. When I saw that in the news, I said, where is this coming from? To ride a golden carriage where? To show what to who? So if in the midst of hunger I haven't eaten for 3 days, whatever, and I look up and I see my in a golden carriage, I should be very happy. I guess some people will be. Good luck. But the traditional rulers in Nigeria now, they're agents of oppression. Most of them. They don't need to go far. There was one that was spraying money. He made a necklace out of. You remember, Sheriff? That one made a necklace out of. Made a necklace. I don't know. There is some ill wind that is blowing across this country. We don't think, both the ordinary people and the privileged don't think at all. How can I, if I'm a private citizen and I've made my money, I set up a brewery, I set up whatever, I'm making my money, I can do whatever I like. But how can I be a public person? And then you now say, I want to go around in a Rolls-Royce car at these times. And even have a backup. Of recent, we've had traditional rulers emerged from only God knows where. Before, in Lagos, we used to know maybe just about 5 or 10 traditional rulers in Lagos. Now, one of these days, you will have the Oni Erikmo of Erikmo.
Oni Erikmo of Erikmo.
Everywhere you turn, there's something. And what is it? I'm surprised that our country is being policed. Every one of them has 2 police escorts. They have somebody, because one person has set the example for them to be hailing and making noise and turning themselves into a nuisance in public. Every time they appear everywhere, there's so much noise. There's gold chains, this and that. And what is going on? This democracy that a lot of us fought for, we don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse. And I think that the social media itself has made it worse because it has exposed so many things. So here it says the Catholic bishops, it doesn't talk about, but like I said, our own religious leaders' major interest is collect your tithes and control your lives, scatter you between your husband and wife, scatter them with all kinds of nonsense things. We all need to be very, very careful. What's the time now? I feel like going. I'm tired. 9:45. Should I close the program? Pick that call.
Well, people are waiting to
no, because sometimes you get overwhelmed with the level of madness that you have. Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. This is AY from Badagry.
Yes, good morning, AY. How are you?
Actually, democracy is a cross to the entire of Africa. You see what's happening in Kenya? Nigeria is not far from it, too. But now,
well, I hope not. We're trying to, because you see, let me tell you the unfortunate thing about this. Today it looks like a nice heroic story, but we don't know where all this is going to end.
Yeah.
So the earlier everybody realizes that you can't do with this kind of thing, you never know where all this is going to end.
Do you know what Africans are supposed to be doing?
Yes.
Supposed to park democracy one side. Look towards the east. Arab countries, China. They are running well. Even Russia that is even in a mess, they are still running better. And start to copy and paste. Copy and paste till we get better.
But
as long as we follow the Westerners, we are going to fall in a ditch.
Well, I this is what I believe of the Western world, and it is strictly my belief. I don't say that's what it is. I believe that the Western world will push you to do wrong, which is what happened here. All this happened in Kenya. The day he sat on Biden's seat in America, I began to have second thoughts about what this man is doing and see what it is now. So through all these agencies, they will push you to do wrong. Like Abiola said, a man who is in Washington cannot really tell you how to run your economy in Nigeria because all these things are local. They're localized. They will push you to do wrong and also develop pro-activists to fight against what you know, and we fall for it. And then before you know it, you're not getting anywhere. Because I like them for what they do. I love the Western world. They're focused. They know what they want. You are not focused. They are. They know that there is a competitive world and there is nothing called aid anywhere. And Africa is full of minerals, enough minerals to be tapped at. If we applied our resources justly, oh my God, it would be a fantastic El Dorado. But that's what is happening. Because it looks as if that every time you have a leader that is just not doing right logically, what that leader would be doing would be beneficial to the West. And they know, they sometimes know the lackeys that they can promote. Okay, and if you have gun manufacturers, you don't want, if you don't have any strife, what do you want them to eat?
No business for them.
No business for them. So this Kenyan thing is a long. Remember, it is the IMF whatever that they adopted that has led to this now. And I'm sure the Western world already have an alternative to this man. His job is done.
You think so?
I think so. His job is done. If you go and find out what's happening at the other end, it's the same Western world that will be helping these protesters. But it's not enough to point at them. I like them. They want to progress. It's a competitive world. Don't be deceived. A man comes to set up a factory, a car factory in Nigeria. I remember in those days, before people got wiser, they would say there must be technology transfer. If I do technology transfer, what am I going to eat with? And so we say, yes, with the technology transfer, people will learn. You will not go learn shishi. You not go learn shishi. Okay, let me take the last caller. I'm not. It's a kind of a sad day for me. Sad morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Uncle Jimmy. Good morning, sir.
Yes, morning.
Yeah, this is Bola calling from Ojo.
Yes, Uncle Bola.
Yeah, Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Bola.
This whole thing you are talking about.
Yes.
I sat down and I thought about it. I think our politicians in Nigeria, their model of operandi, the way they operate here is to impoverish people, the masses. The more poor you are, the more dependent you are. You can't think. You can't do any other thing that will depend on whatever they want to throw out for you. So they are so confident in that the poverty in Nigeria is a tool for them. Check out the last election that just finished. The two places that one of our notorious politicians was defeated is an elite city, Lagos State. Elite State, Lagos State, and Abuja, where people who can think, where people who can just do things on their own. But the other politicians, they rely on those rural areas.
Okay, your 1 minute is up. But I think your point has been made. I would rather say that when you want to appoint leaders, it's always good that you check their backgrounds and how they grew up. How were they trained? Who trained them? How were they trained? And do they have do some of them have a grudge with society? Some people grew up with a grudge against society. Some people grow up with that grudge that I suffered so much. When it is my time and I shall do whatever I like, and I shall make some people, they will know that it's my time and this is what I'm doing. These things are very, very important in general terms. But there's nothing more to be said about Nigeria, to be honest with you. I was told to come and give some lectures. I'm not giving any lectures. It's not that this is the job that fits me. I won't say anything again. Just sit down, look. Events will evolve eventually. I'll see you all tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Bye.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.